I have recently been asked by more and more people, where do I flee to? And some have asked whether they need to flee from this location or that location. In lieu of these questions, I thought I would post this video. First, it is important to understand that Yeshua's instructions to flee are for both on a spiritual plane and a physical plane. He said in Matthew chapter 24, verses 15 through 18, "Therefore, when you perceive the abomination of desolation spoken of through Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, perceive and discern, then those which are in Judea should escape into the mountains. The one who is on the roof should come down and not even take out of his house. Neither should the one who is in the field return back to take his clothes." So he's showing the urgency here when we see the abomination. He gives us these physical examples to show us that he means fleeing physically as well as fleeing the lies that the abomination caused. The abomination was revealed in a video on July 22nd of this year called The Abomination of Desolation. That's found on this site. It is Saul of Tarsus and his blasphemous writings that desolated the truth that was given to us to set us apart to our Elohim, to become his children. This was 150 days ago yesterday. Today we have 212 days left in the countdown to Yeshua's return. I spoke about a prophecy that is found in the book of Haggai yesterday that shows the significance of today in the final countdown. The plea is going out to the scattered nations of Israel to set your hearts on returning to our Elohim through the renewed covenant that he is offering to you. But you're going to have to depart from all that is false and return to him through the path that he has given to you. His pathway that his son bore witness to is his word. His word includes his Torah because his Torah is in his word. He gave it to us to teach us who he is and how to become as he is. And we're to be made in his image, and this is accomplished through walking in his word. Some have asked about the second Exodus and why not wait until then. The second Exodus will come and he will gather those whom he is returning to Israel from the four corners of the earth. But this is after the coming time of affliction that he is sending upon the scattered nations of Israel. If you want to flee the physical reasons why he is sending this time of affliction, then he is telling you to get out of these areas before his wrath comes upon them. Revelation 18:4 confirms this. Granted, the whole world is Babylon in a way, and the whole world will suffer affliction, but the scattered nations of Israel will receive a double portion because they had the truth directly given to them, but they rejected it and chose to believe the lies of the abomination instead. The Babylon that is referenced to as the great whore and her daughters is referring to a certain people. Primarily it is America and Rome and their close allies, especially the military allies, since brothers tend to fight together. This would certainly include Great Britain and countries like this. Some have asked me questions like, would Alaska be considered America? Here is my reply to one of these questions. As far as Alaska goes, I cannot answer your question because I do not know. It is part of America, yet it is not part of America in a way. I still would not want to be found in any of the cities there at a minimum, but I do not know what to tell you on this. I know that the continental U.S. and Great Britain and Italy are for sure not places to be, along with any of the cities throughout the world. As far as the second Exodus goes, keep in mind that the scattered nations of Israel are going to have to go through a double portion of his wrath in order to humble them before this Exodus happens. They will not be delivered unless they are humbled because they are stiff-necked and full of pride, and they will not be humbled without the affliction. So with this understanding, if people are in an area that the double portion of his indignation is coming to, and they are humbled before their Maker, before this calamity is sent, they need to get out. This is why Yeshua instructed us to flee from them physically. If people are turning to obey him, to be made in his image, and then he is telling them to get out of the way of what he is sending. There is no reason to be partakers of their correction. The second Exodus does not happen until after the correction. If you are walking in agreement with our Elohim and you are hungering and thirsting for his seven spirits, they will guide you in what you must do in this matter. It is when we depart from walking in the truth that his guiding spirits depart from us. This is why we must measure all things with the measuring rod that he gave us to measure all things with, so that we can know that we are walking in the truth. If we are deciding right from wrong for ourselves, he is not going to guide us. When we enter into the contract with him to become as he is on his terms, we have to continue in it and yield to his instructions. If we are doing this, then we will receive his guidance. If you are continuing in the covenant and walking in agreement with him through his word, and the measuring rod testifies to this, then you can trust in his spirit that to guide you in what to do. This includes conforming to what he is restoring with such things as the Ezekiel 24 sign and covering your head. But if you're picking and choosing from his word like most are, then I would not trust in the spirit that is guiding you if I were you. You have to make this determination, and he gave us the measuring rod that you must use to make it. John told us to test the spirits. If we are confessing the same word in our flesh that Yeshua confessed in his flesh, we are of Elohim. From what you are telling me, you are in good hands, but I do not know all of your details. I only know what you're telling me. I have people who write me all of the time and tell me that they are obeying him and following his Torah. But then I find out that they won't even do something simple like wear blue tassels on the four corners of their garments or cover their heads like we are being commanded to at this time. They pick and choose, and they justify their choices. These people are not being guided by his spirit. They are being guided by the spirit of rebellion, so whatever advice they think is coming from our Creator is not. It is coming from their father, the devil. His word was certainly given to test us and to prove us, and it is awesome at doing so. And it is awesome at showing us whether or not we are in agreement with our Creator. It is the perfect telltale all. This is just a response to one situation. There are others who wonder what to do if they are directly in the areas that I mentioned and they cannot flee. If this is you, I would measure yourself against the measuring rod. If it truly is the case that you cannot flee for whatever the reason, and the reason is not because you are simply scared to flee, or that you do not want to leave your comfort zone, then I would make sure that your repentance is genuine and leave the consequences to our all-knowing, all-powerful, loving Father. If your repentance is real, then you are walking in the covenant, and he will deliver you one way or another. But there are some of you who can flee who have the wrong attitude about why you won't. If you have the attitude that you know you are among that which he is sending his wrath to, but that he will protect you anyway, you have the wrong attitude. The reason I say that you have the wrong attitude is because you are not making your choice based on his measuring rod. You are acting in rebellion to his word because his word says to flee. His measuring rod says to come out of her, my people. The next question is, where do I flee to? Wherever it is, I would get to the hills because Yeshua said so. You want to get remote? Our Elohim clearly led me to take my family to southern Europe. He had a village prepared for us when we got here. It was a journey, but he was with us every step. He was pretty specific with the country, but the rest of the details unfolded after we got here. We did not know them. When I was asking him about the country to go to, I was asking him about South America maybe, or Africa, and he said no, but this might be just because of the job that I have in front of me. I don't know. He will gather the remnant from the four corners, so this will include from wherever you flee to stay in harm's way after he said that he is sending his wrath, and in spite of his son's instructions to get out from her, would be both foolish and disobedient, unless of course there is some reason why it is absolutely impossible for you to flee. I know that we had no money when he started showing me about the abomination last fall in 2010. We sold everything that we could while waiting for my wife's passport, and we left the rest behind. We left everything but a couple of suitcases apiece. None of the physical things are going to matter to you when this all comes unglued, and it is going to come unglued very soon. I do not have any more specifics that I can think of except to also stay out of the Middle East and China and Russia and North Korea and places like this as well. And I would definitely stay out of Israel until he returns you there. Areas around volcanoes and along the coast and earthquake-prone areas would also be good places to avoid. The main thing to remember is if you are going to flee physically and not spiritually, it does not matter where you go to. You will not be able to run from nor hide from the calamity that is coming your way. I hope that this helps. I'm sorry that I cannot cover all of the individual situations that there might be. Today I briefly touched on how you can know that you are in agreement with our Creator and therefore guided by His 7 spirits that will lead you. The videos that are on this site explain this further. There are over 2 billion alive today in the abominable religion of Christianity that think they are being guided by His Spirit. His Word testifies against them. It testifies that they have the spirit of rebellion guiding them. Satan is very clever. My advice to each of you is to make sure that it is our Elohim 7 spirits that are guiding you by measuring your thoughts with the measuring rod. If the spirit that is guiding your thoughts are conforming to His Word and confirmed by His Word, they are of Elohim. If they oppose His Word and guide your thoughts according to how the abomination taught Israel to think, they are not of Elohim. This is why the measuring rod is so important. We have to be right on this, and we cannot know on our own. His thoughts are not our thoughts, and His ways are not our ways without His 7 spirits. And His Word confirms His righteous thoughts to us, confirms what they are. Most have not feared being wrong. This is why they were setting ducks for Satan and his crew of rebellious misfits. Our Creator is beseeching each of you to walk with Him and to hunger for His thoughts to become your thoughts and His ways to be your ways. And He has told you the only way that this is accomplished. It starts with making sure that you have the correct image of His Son so that you have real blood washing you and not make-believe blood from a make-believe Messiah. His Son became His Word. Walk as He walked. He said to follow Him. He and His Father became one, and we must become one with them. He has the rest of this worked out from there.